So let's talk about why real estate investors and teams, need this kind of a support to scale. Because you've been through this.
Yeah. So you look at, and I could use my business as an example. We have clients that come to us that either want to scale, either want time, or either want to become more efficient. So if you look at every team, you look at every business typically starts with one person or they have a partner. That's typically how, individuals, with their coaching programs, I'm sure this is how they come to you guys, right? So they come with a dream. I want to quit my job here so I could jump into real estate investing here, right? If you're doing a lot of the Kiyosaki stuff, that's a lot what he talks about. And if you're going to start building team, it starts with one person, and then you could add a virtual assistant. But here's what I would recommend when you start looking at that. You have to identify what the departments of your business are. I know this, I'll break it down like really slowly, because I think if we don't identify what departments of our business are, it's very difficult for us to know what we're going to outsource first, right? So if I look at it, you obviously have marketing that starts, right? Whether it's marketing or branding, right? So for your publishing company, you need to be found. People have to know who you guys are, right? So there's a branding and marketing. So what we do is we have our virtual assistants do. We have a podcast as well that I just actually launched called Pucks to Properties. So
Nice.
this is just a little take on it. I did one last year for, I think it was a 2-year run on it's called Friday. What's it called? Friday Coffee Break. So we just changed over to another one. But that's part of the brand, right? So you got branding and then marketing. On the real estate investing side, you got social media. I mean, none of us, I know for me personally, I am the worst at this. I'll come from an event and I learned something that says, hey, you have to post every day because you got to be out there. You got to be out there. I go home, I'm all fired up. I post on Monday. I post on Tuesday. My buddy calls me to play golf on Wednesday. I'm like, all right, now I got one cocktail and now another. Now I know for a fact I am not going to be posting on that day. And then I miss Thursday and Friday, but that's common. That's human nature, right? So then what I do now is I have my virtual assistants post. I get answers or I get questions all the time from my buddy, like, hey, I saw your post on LinkedIn. I'm like, what post was that?
Yeah.
So that's part of the branding side of it that every real estate investor needs 100%, because they need the eyeballs to get properties, right?
Right.
The other side is marketing. Marketing, in my opinion, would be just like we're talking about: cold calling, text messaging, direct mail. And that has to get done on a daily basis. So we have, I don't know how many, I think I have 8 in my own office, virtual assistants, not in my office, but calling for our leads that come into our acquisition team over here. So they're doing this every single day. So we're getting leads coming in. I got to check with my real estate business partner to see how many leads we get per day, but I think we're at about 30 per day around leads that come in between cold calling, text messaging, and direct mail. We're starting to flirt around with PPC. I don't do that yet. But when the leads come in, what happens is first, they're getting pre-screened. So they're getting pre-screened before they go to my floor. Floor gets them. And then if you start looking at, leads that come into your pipeline, everyone has different types of CRMs, whether it's Podio, Salesforce, or whatever type of CRM they have. Now all those leads start piling up. So you got your marketing, or you got your marketing that comes in, leads start piling up, go to your sales floor, more leads keep coming in. So what happens is once you start growing, your leads are going to start piling up. So we have a virtual assistant that focuses solely on following up, because majority of our properties, probably 80+% now, they're never one call closes. What I mean by that is it's after the first call. I'm building rapport with you, and it's after that first call. So then now our virtual assistants reignite that relationship, and it goes back to our sales floor.
From a task standpoint, what would you say are some of the best things to outsource? If somebody's new to this, what should they be looking at?
Cold calling is probably the biggest task, because you have to look at it. Leads coming into a business that's your lifeline. And if you're not there, someone's not there that continually reach out. It's really outreach. It's marketing outreach is what it is, right? You don't have someone continuously doing that, you're missing out on some gold. Because you can do direct mail, right? If you're working part-time or full-time, even if you do direct mail, the phone rings, you don't answer it, that's a lost lead, right? So we have our virtual assistants answer our calls live as well on the direct mail side. So I would say focusing on either inbound or outbound phone work because leads right now, especially today. I mean, how many real estate agents have you come across say, well, there's no properties out there? And I'm like, well, there's a heck of a lot of properties because we did over 150 transactions last year. Well, you have to go get them. And it takes a lot of energy to keep that going. You know, as a solo agent or a solo investor, it's tiring to do this every single day. This business will beat you up and spit you out if you don't systemize it.
I don't think people understand it. Sometimes when you start a direction and you see more opportunities, that's certainly what's happened with me over the years, which is how I got into the publishing company, which is how I got into the utility companies, why I got into all the real estate stuff that I'm in. And even this podcast show and all that kind of stuff, it's you start to recognize, as you're in the game, right?
Yep, absolutely. And I start looking at, the older we get, we start reading different books, and I started reading some different types of models, right? And one of the models that's actually really cool is the grocery store model. So if you walk into my buddy owns 2 grocery stores, and we just, a lot of times over a couple cocktails, we'll be just brainstorming about how different businesses work, right? So in the grocery store model, they don't dump you off where they're selling ketchup or pasta or anything, because that's only a 3% margin. They start you where in the florist and the deli or the dairy, etc. So so basically the money's made on the perimeter of all of that on that business. So that's about a 30+% profit margin. So if you start looking at our business, use that as a perfect example, exactly what you just said. We have, let's say it's real estate investing is your main hub on how you're making money. It's so easy to get shiny object syndrome, right? Like, I saw someone speak on multifamily. And now all of a sudden you're going to be a commercial multifamily investor, which you never even understood what single family was, or you're just bouncing all over the place. So for me personally, it started with real estate investing. And I started looking at, the perimeter of everything that was part of real estate. So for me, it started with that. Then I started a VA company, but it was bolted on to something that was in the same field, right? It wasn't, hey, I'm going to start a flag making company that had nothing to do with real estate, right? So I think that's important for everybody to understand. If you're going to start building businesses, just make sure it's attached to something that is part of that type of industry. So for me, I know virtual assistants doesn't seem like it is, but it really is. It's a team thing. It's a people business, and it was used to drive leads to my real estate company. So it was just another, profit center, and then it started getting bigger and bigger. And just to get back to your answer on the team side of it, I think it's very important for all of us when you start building teams, you got to focus on culture, because if you have one bad apple, I mean, this in your businesses, right? Both of you guys, if you have one bad apple, that could ruin the whole group of apples, whatever they call them. They call them bushels of apples. I don't know what they call them, but they call them something. But I think it's really important to know that, because I see a lot of people have some challenges with culture, because hiring isn't easy, right? They'll hire the wrong people. They'll just say, all right, I need help. I just need to hire somebody. And they won't take the time to sift through the applications to really look at that. So I don't know if I answered that question. I probably talked for 20 minutes on something that didn't make any sense, but.
No, it's fascinating. What's the best way people can reach out to you, get in contact with you? Because you've got a lot of irons in the fire, and I think people would love to learn more.
Yeah, so check out our virtual assistant company at Riva Global, REVA My email address is bob@rivaglobal.com. We're online. We're on Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of good stuff. So we also have a YouTube channel, so check us out there. And if you have any questions, just send me a direct email.